Few things infuriate me more than hearing things like this.
You can't prove the age of the Earth, so you can never prove it's old. So there is no hypothetical.
Or this.
Evolution not taught as a sincere theory of biologists, but rather, Mr. Speaker, taught as fact.
Or even this.
Climate change is still disputed by experts. Why are we teaching it in schools as a scientific fact? But it's just a theory like gravity. It's just a theory.
By the almighty holy Buddha! So let's go down a rabbit hole of thinking to explain this stupidity. So we did a video previously using these same examples to show what the difference between a scientific hypothesis and a scientific theory are. We discovered that these people were making the mistakes of confusing a scientific theory for a scientific hypothesis. But why was this mistake made? Because the word theory also has a philosophical sense. In this video, we'll look at what a philosophical theory is, what a philosophical hypothesis is, and whether non-scientific philosophical theories have any validity. So what the fuck is a theory philosophically? What is what? Unlike science, who focuses on specific areas of knowledge and whose methodology is strict and limited, philosophy is focused on the general. Philosophy's object is thought itself. Human thought is what underpins literally all of our existences. As much as scientists hate to admit it, all of their scientific hypotheses, experiments, and theories are based on a plethora of philosophical presuppositions. For instance, one philosophic presupposition that science depends on is that the world is knowable to humans. If that presupposition is false, then all of science collapses. So the word theory comes from the ancient Greek word theoria, and can be translated as theory, but it's more accurate to translate the word as something like contemplation. Philosopher Joe Sachs, whose specialty is ancient Greek philosophy, says, theoria, or contemplation, is, quote, the being at work of the intellect, nous, a thinking that is like seeing, complete at every instance. An analogy to the relation between step-by-step reasoning and contemplation may be found in the two ways of looking at a painting or a natural scene. One's eyes may first roam from part to part, making connections, but one may also take in the sight whole, drinking it in with the rest of the eyes. So a philosophical theory is basically any type of systematic knowledge with a certain level of coherence to it. But what about a philosophical hypothesis? Well, a philosophical hypothesis is basically any statement or proposition that has a truth value. We don't really call them hypotheses, so statements like, the cat is adorable, the cat is whining, the cat is on the bed, the lamp is turned on, the floor is filthy, etc., so on and so forth. A philosophical theory is an accumulation of hopefully true statements, and their systematization using logic like deduction and induction, which we talked about in this video. For many centuries, the various words that we translate into science were merely philosophical theories. For instance, let's look at the German word for science, die Wissenschaft. Somebody that is studying communications is doing Kommunikationswissenschaft, the study of theater, die Theaterwissenschaft. Management science is Wissenschaft Unternehmensführer. Soft science is Weiche Wissenschaft. Pure science is reine Wissenschaft. The world of science is Welt der Wissenschaft. Die Wissenschaft means any type of systematic collection of premises that have a coherence. 19th century philosophers like Hegel, Marx, Freud all considered their theories to be scientific, using the word die Wissenschaft. They considered themselves doing science, though today we would not consider them scientific based on our contemporary understanding of the word. Even though these theories are still systematic collections of premises, at least some of which are empirical and that have coherence. So are non-scientific theories valid? Do they have value? Well, of course. Look at art, or the study of art. We could, of course, view art purely scientifically. What is the chemical composition of the piece? How does light reflect off of it? What chemicals in our brain are released when we experience art? But none of that is what we are experiencing when we review, judge, and enjoy art. In fact, these things are typically irrelevant when determining whether a piece of art is good or bad. That's all for this video. Thank you, strange thinkers. Bye. Like, share, subscribe, hit bell, or however your precious attention self-identifies. Thank you to patrons. Thank you to the patrons. They are the best.